Lockheed Martin has spy satellites up there right now that global heat map the entire Earth constantly. So what Larry Ellison's saying about watching everything all the time, those satellites are doing right now. So anything that's bad that happens in the world, they know. Like, so what? They're not stopping it. So what's to say his body cams and those police are gonna stop anything?
Well, that's why we also talked about the drones that were in New Jersey, and that sparked the conversation of just like drones are just going to take over this guy.
Right. And they will.
Yeah. They will have the ability to black out the sun for Bill Gates.
Oh yeah.
He won't even need dust. He'll just use drones.
Right. Oh yeah. 100%. 100%. And so like Larry Ellison is transhumanist. Just bring it all back to that stuff. Neuralink is a transhumanist technology, even though the benefits are short-term benefits. I totally understand. Like, how do I want to take the sight away from someone who's blind? It sounds amazing. Like, I want to help these people. Peter Thiel is a transhumanist. You can look up Ambrosia. It's a blood company where young men donate their blood for rich people to inject it into their veins to live forever. And that's based on a study where old mice were sewn to young mice, and you could see the transfer of health.
That is the base definition of being a vampire.
Literally, I call them Silicon Valley vampires. Like, and Thiel is a vampire. You can look it up. You can look Ambrosia, the startup harvesting the blood of the young. Come on. Can you like search this really quick to see if Peter Thiel's even in this article? Because he might be.
Okay.
Like, I just find this dude.
It's not a great article.
You gotta pay. You gotta pay to read about the transhumanist agenda. Thanks, Guardian. Guarding, gatekeeping, important information right now. But $8,000 a bag. This company went under for a little bit and had to rebrand as another company. Okay. That company didn't do well, so I think they actually became Ambrosia again. Ambrosia, for those listening, if you don't know, is the food of the gods in Greek mythology. Interesting. Peter Thiel is very, very interested in young people's blood. When was this written?
Well, what is it, Inc?
2016.
Okay.
Dude, this guy sweats blood. If you ever watch interviews with him, like Dave Rubin has him on all the time. Like, he's a darling of the right.
He's got pretty good skin, so you know.
He does not. He's bloody skin. It's blood. This dude is insane.
You think he's just showering in it, like in his house? He's not even just injecting. He's just putting it on his face and just, pulling a Buffalo Bob.
Elizabeth Bathory, or the first alleged serial killer. Very possible. Very possible. This guy, it's funny because I think he's extremely smart. This dude is very smart, and he says a lot of things I think a lot of us would agree with. Like, he sees the cultural rot, the problem with colleges, but he also created J.D. Vance in a test tube. Like, this is J.D. Vance's mentor, literally. Like, Vance saw him speak at Yale. Vance was impressed, and Thiel funded his whole venture capitalist firm. So they're very close, which is why I don't really trust him, because I really don't trust Peter Thiel.
This is 2020. No, this is still 2016. Dang. I thought I had something.
And it sucks that all these things are like left-leaning publications writing them because they hate him so much. Or like, he's a Trump donor. But like the whole thing, the way I see the rebrand, Thiel was an early adopter of Trump because he's really smart and he understood where politics and culture was going after being an Obama voter, which unfortunately I can relate to. He then jumped ship and went to Trump and as one of his biggest donors. But then you saw all the rebranding of the Silicon Valley, Zuckerberg, Elon, all these guys we just listened to, Ellison, Altman. They all went from being hardcore, Biden or left-leaning, to Trump. I think at a survival. That's my opinion. And the one thing Biden ever said, the one thing that corpse ever said that I liked was on his last day in office, he called it the tech industrial complex, echoing my favorite speech from any president, from Eisenhower on his last day in office when he coined the phrase military industrial complex. And I do see that as this Silicon Valley is an extension of the military industrial complex. And Trump, unfortunately, absorbed it all into this administration and now is funding them to create things beyond like your worst nightmares. And now we're seeing data centers being built. Like we're somewhat near Loudoun County in Virginia. And that is the data center capital of the world. Maybe just a country. I don't want to speak out of line, but it might be the world. They have 1 million, and I'm also exaggerating now. They have a lot of data centers in Loudoun County to help run the AI. Because I forget what the exact number is, but asking AI a question takes way more energy than it does to ask Google a question. So whereas data centers used to be in a closet in buildings back in the day, now we have entire factories of data farms.
Yeah,
and
warehouses.
Huge warehouses. And a lot of that $500 billion that Trump did for Stargate is going towards building, these data centers. And there's people out in Loudoun County who are like, when it snows, man, it's weird how like snow just doesn't touch these things. It's bizarre. Like I think we're going to find out in the future these things are not good to be around. Like not at all. Like even RFK Jr. talked about 5G and stuff. I don't think that's like people. That's a conspiracy. I think doing anything is just not good for us. Like clearly, all the things we've talked about so far in this episode, it's just not good for humans. But it's unavoidable, I guess. But maybe it is avoidable to just build all these centers of destruction of your privacy. And
humanity is going to pay the price for their transgression.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it's been happening for years, but it just seems like it's getting to an alarming scale now. And
dude, it's gonna get. Can you imagine? I remember seeing Tim use AI like Midjourney or something like just a few years ago, and it was a joke. We were all laughing how silly it was. Mm-hmm. This is so silly. Like he's making chickens, and it wasn't that great, but it was funny, right? In just 2 years since then, there's people easily believe AI images. There's people paying AI OnlyFans. Like there's AI anything you want.
That's crazy because the amount of money that an AI model makes, not even a real person, the amount of money that people are generating in revenue for an AI model is insane.
They don't care.
It's more money than I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just some dude running an AI. I see people on Twitter as threads that go viral. Someone's like, it's always some dude. This is how I made 20 million off of my AI model. She's not real, and it's some chick, and it's like, that is believable. I can see how people believe it. Then you look and it's like nothing moves. Like it's just it's terrible. Mm-hmm. It's terrible. It sickens me. And I'm like, why do young men fall for that? Like, why are people? Is it because we're so alone?
Yeah,
that
maybe.
People do it, which then goes back to this whole thing. These AI people say like we're going to create a thing that's a tool that's better for humanity, and then I'm like, well, okay, we all have smartphones now. Everyone's allegedly smarter, but we're more isolated and drugged up and alone and suicidal as a culture than we've ever been, and we've known that for years now. So if having smartphones made us that much worse than like the internet, why do you think now AI, which is way more powerful than that, is going to make us any better? I don't see that happening. I don't think there's going to be all of a sudden like a switch in people's ethics being like, it's going to make me a better person. It's going to make you more isolated. It's going to make you sadder. And it's going to rob you of the physical world completely.
I mean, I know during the pandemic, just watching the civil unrest and everything that was happening, people, the stuff that happened in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Just a few weeks of watching that was enough for me to shut down a lot of my social media. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I still paid attention to current event and things that were going on in the world, but there was a lot of stuff happening that was just openly broadcasted that was actually giving me anxiety. Yeah. And I'm safe in my home, in my room, in my bed, scrolling on my phone, and I can feel what is happening through this, this personal device.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing. I think as soon as you open up your phone, as soon as you're on social media or turn on the TV, you are inundated with anxiety without, even if you don't even realize it's anxiety.
Which might make it more so like that way that they can summon fear and anxiety in us through the phones. They're also able to summon, I'm putting love in quotes for those listening, but the way these guys fall in love with AI models or whatever it is, right? Because they don't really, I don't think, know love outside of their bubble. So they're experiencing love. Someone's talking to them, and I think they fall for it. It's like that movie Her. I think we talked about that recently, right?
Mm-hmm. We used to call it getting catfished.
Yeah. Same idea.
What do we call that now?
Oh yeah,
botfish,
maybe.
Yeah,
botfish.
Yeah.
Catbot. Botfish. Botfish sounds gross.
You've heard of Big Brother before. Now get ready for Big Daddy.
God.
It's here. It's here. It's happening. It's here. Like we don't have to do the massive blue thing, but like just to people just tie that one up real quick. It's like that's a firm that creates AI personalities to go out there and try to trick people. I'm sure if you've spent any time on Twitter, you've encountered bots. That's a whole other thing we talk about, that internet theory. But this article is just like the college protester isn't real. This college protester isn't real. It's an AI-powered undercover bot for cops. Mm-hmm. So Massive Blue is, that's right, used by cops to go undercover. and like they come up with profiles. And Massive Blue actually has like almost like a menu of personalities. You know, it's like but they're very, very like silly. They're caricatures. Blue haired, you know, divorcee, feminist, you know. So what does it say? Detect, disrupt, deter, discuss. The 4 Ds from Massive Blue. Massive Blue safeguards society from the exponential rise and continuous evolution of threats. Our rapidly deployable solutions empower our customers to efficiently address these risks. Imagine if this is one of our advertisers.
Oh, God.
It would never. Overwatch. I love that they use that word. Overwatch. Force multiplier solutions for law enforcement, public safety, defense, and private security agencies. This is it. I mean, I don't like it. I just don't like it. It's
now everyone watching this show has anxiety.
Good. So what was the other? I had another story I want to pull up.
Pope.
Yeah.
Go there.
Let's do the Pope. Let's do the Pope.
Chi-Town.
Hey,
represents.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Chi-Town.
Chicago's taking
We got
over.
Chicago here right now. Chicago's in the studio. Chicago's in the Vatican.
Chicago's taking over.
How much did you know about this Pope beforehand? Is he like a fixture in Chicago?
He was a cardinal there. I'm not super religious.
Yeah.
For reasons I won't get into right now, but it was one of those things where we knew that he was going to the Vatican for this.
Oh, really?
It was aforementioned that, you know, there were 46 or some odd cardinals. I could give or take a number. I could be wrong on that, but there were a lot of cardinals in there for the discussion of who was going to be the next Pope, and we knew that he was included in there because it was all over the news. Oh, hey, there's a cardinal from Chicago is in there. So Chicago was eating this up and putting it into the media, which I still see all the Chicago news on my phone.
Okay, yeah.
It's only been out here a couple months, but so I'm looking through them. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I seen it right before they announced and the smoke came out, you know, that I was like, wouldn't it be crazy if he actually, you know, was selected to be Pope, and then like literally an hour later,
That's crazy.
and the next thing you know, you've got, you know, people on Facebook posting Portillo's signs behind the Vatican. You know, they did pictures of him baptizing a beef sandwich, you know, instead of a baby.
Is that real?
It's all out there. It's all out there. There's another one where they showed him his first entrance coming out, and somebody queued up the Chicago Bulls entrance theme from 1996 behind him. It was like, dan, 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 dan. So
good.
they're already losing their minds over it. And in Chicago, we have a very love-hate relationship with Green Bay for football reasons.
Right.
And they're already, you know, stuff like, oh, yeah, Chicago, 1 Pope, Green Bay, 0. That's all you need to know, you know, so.
That's hilarious. I mean, Chicago's also known for a lot of corruption.
Yes.
So I wonder, like, I don't know how the Catholic Church is out there.
Our governors are very, very commonly jailed.
You didn't like Blagojevich? One of my favorite names.
You know,
forget it.
He was pardoned. You know,
yeah,
Dominus.
he was. That's right. That's right.
So there's that whole thing. I would love it if the current governor were thrown in jail for something, because I have never seen a person more systematically bleed a state dry in my life. Than what that man is doing, and the things that. And he was reelected, which is unbelievable. And on top of that, he wants to implement things like charging people in the state per mile driven.
Oh, what's his name?
This is J.B. Pritzker.
Pritzker.
We have some very horrible names that we've derived from the word Pritzker, as I'm sure you can probably guess.
Well, maybe Rahm Emanuel will save you. Isn't he going to run or something?
I don't know. At this point, it's all up in the air in my head, and I'm like, I'm trying to remove myself from that setting now because of how much stress that place really causes. I mean, I love the big city setting. You know, I've been there for 30 plus years. I've never lived anywhere else until now. And just, I was talking to Tim's mom literally yesterday about this. The freedom that you have out here in comparison to a place like that. When it's just little things coming down to like emissions testing. She's like, she's like, here, I went to go get my emissions test, and they just said, what's the make and model of the vehicle? And she told them, and they're like, all right, here's your sticker. And me, I'm like, they didn't hook up your tailpipe to like an air exhaust system and test the carbons going on, because no, they don't care.
Sounds like Canada.
You know, but it's just so densely populated in that city and just in that state in general that they have all these, you know, EPA has all these laws for what you can and can't put in the air, and what, you know, like it's they want to charge every year something goes up. Like, you know, like I own a condo back there, and my property taxes literally doubled last year for absolutely no reason at all. You know, and it's getting to the point to where it's almost unlivable.
That's exactly the word I use when I talk about leaving New York and the property taxes. And then we have 3 kids, and it's unlivable.
Yeah, and New York is its own monster, so you understand entirely.
Oh yeah, it's brutal. And like we lived in the city for a little bit, but we lived upstate, just a little like fake upstate. Those listening from New York, upstate, real upstate's way up in Rochester and South Buffalo. We lived an hour and a half north of New York City, so everyone considers it upstate.
Yeah.
But the city ruins it for everybody, even in that area, in like where I was, because the property taxes are insane. They don't want you to have a family.
No.
They don't want you to survive. They don't want you to eat. They really just want to bleed you dry.
They don't even want you to be single.
Right.
Like they don't want you to be single and alive and vetting for yourself. I was I think working 2 jobs for 2 or 3 years, like a 9 to 5 and then like a bar back job that I was doing. Shout out Bottom Lounge.
Nice.
And it was just so that I could have extra money to like, hey, I want to stock my fridge up.
Yeah.
While I'm working 60, 70-hour weeks, I want to come home and be able to make dinner, not have to go out and hemorrhage money to fast food chains that are already upping their prices and everything.
Yep.
And it's becoming so crazy to just survive out there as a person on your own.
Imagine how much easier it's going to be when you can just go into the metaverse and you can have your wife there. You can have your little Tamagotchi kids there, and just live out an immortal life in the metaverse. That's what people will do.
I just want to know if I start thinking about cheeseburgers, is it just going to appear in front of me?
That or a drone is going to snipe you through the window. An anti-cheeseburger drone.
I don't even eat cheeseburgers. I'm just
Maha drone. Our face would be like, no, we're shooting that burger right out of your hands.
No,
the drones.
You can't have cows. They fart too much.
Yeah. Bill Gates drones.